extent of the law. However, this legislation gives special preferences to certain classes of citizens and would create a chilling effect on one of our most cherished constitutional rights. I urge my colleagues to reject this legislation and yield back the balance of my time.
Gentleman yields back his time. Gentleman from Illinois.
I'd now like to yield 3 minutes to the gentleman from Louisiana, Mr. Cao.
The gentleman from Louisiana is recognized for 3 minutes.
I thank the gentleman from Illinois for yielding me time. Mr. Speaker, I rise today in support of H.R. 1913, the Local Law Enforcement Hate Crimes Act. The sharp increase in crimes in Orleans and Jefferson parishes since Hurricane Katrina is on the minds of my constituents in every corner of our district. Because of this serious matter, I am focused on giving our law enforcement officials the tools they need to fight crime and return safety to our streets. All violent criminals must be fully prosecuted. Crimes committed against individuals based upon their actual or perceived race, color, religion, national origin, gender, sexual orientation, gender identity, or disability are particularly insidious. This is a nation of acceptance where every individual is protected by the Constitution. This promise enables them to pursue their dreams free of persecution and attack. I, as a minority, am acutely aware of freedoms and protections offered by the laws of this land and what is expected of my fellow citizens. The provisions of this bill will assist prosecutors in enforcing the rights guaranteed by the Constitution. It allows law enforcement officials to hold those committing violent crimes accountable for their actions. This is what this bill does. What this bill does not do is restrict free speech. Freedom of speech and freedom of association guaranteed by the First Amendment are respected by the language of this bill. Despite concerns to the contrary, this bill will not subject anyone to prosecution of what they think, say, or preach. Mr. Speaker, I am supporting this bill because hate crimes are an assault on a person's dignity and humanity. They represent a type of behavior that has no place in our dignified society. And it is our responsibility to enable prosecution of these heinous crimes to the fullest extent of the law. With that, I yield back the balance of my time. Thank you.
Gentleman yields back his time. Gentleman from Texas.
I yield 3 minutes to the gentleman from Virginia, Mr. Forbes, member of the Judiciary Committee and a former ranking member of the Crime Subcommittee.
The gentleman is recognized for 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm not going to pound on the podium or yell and scream about this legislation, but I'll just say to the Speaker that sometimes all the spin that we hear in here about a particular piece of legislation during debate, or sometimes our getting down into the specifics of the semantics of the legislation or arguing about what the courts say it will or will not do, causes us to do what the average citizen at home does not do, and that is to miss the common sense and the rightness of a piece of legislation. The distinguished majority leader came to the floor a while ago and stated two principles: that all people ought to be treated equally, and if America stands for anything, it stands for equality under the law, and that's what this legislation does not do. Mr. Speaker, just a short time ago, there was a pageant in the United States, the Miss USA pageant. One of the contestants, Miss California, went up there and she was asked a question by one of the judges, who was an openly gay judge, about her beliefs in marriage, and she stated what her beliefs were. That judge lambasted her over and over again in blogs, calling her the most vile names, spewing out hostility and hate, and even made the statement that if she had won, he would have stormed on the stage and snatched the tiara off her head. And other bloggers who had his same orientation and therefore were driven to the same hatred of this young girl had similar things in their blogs. Had he done that, had he done what he said he would do and stormed that stage and pulled that tiara off her head and had bodily harm when he did it, there would not have been 1 ounce of protection under this piece of legislation for that young girl. But after he did it, if she had in response made a statement back about the very sexual